In the vast ocean of existence that stretches beyond the grasp of our ordinary senses, there pulses a secret rhythm, a resonance so subtle yet so potent that it weaves through the very fabric of reality itself. This is not merely a sound or a frequency, as we understand it in the confines of physics or music, but a mysterious vibration, a hidden current flowing beneath the waves of perception, waiting to be discovered by those who dare to attune their inner instrument. Imagine, if you will, that your consciousness is like a finely tuned vessel drifting across an infinite cosmic sea, and somewhere beneath you lies a forbidden frequency, a secret melody, long concealed by the architects of ancient wisdom, whose echo has the power to raise the tides of your vibration permanently. This forbidden frequency is not an accident of chance or a trivial curiosity. It is a key, a doorway into a sanctum of higher awareness, where the illusions of separation crumble and the radiant unity of all things becomes palpable. It is a pulse that reverberates through the hidden chambers of ancient temples, whispered in the symbols left etched upon stone and woven into the hymns of forgotten sages. To grasp its essence is to glimpse the architecture of reality itself, the underlying code that masterfully orchestrates the dance of existence, from the subatomic to the cosmic scale. It is a frequency that exists both within and beyond time, a timeless hum that beckons the seeker to awaken from the slumber of the mundane and step into the luminous expanse of awakened being. The journey toward this forbidden frequency is akin to tuning a delicate instrument in the quiet before dawn. It requires a shedding of the cacophony of conditioned thought, a gentle loosening of the mental bindings that tether us to the narrow corridors of linear life. Within each of us, there is a latent resonance waiting to be uncovered, a sacred vibration that, when activated, aligns our being with the harmonic order of the universe. This is not a superficial change or a fleeting moment of bliss. Rather, it is a profound and permanent elevation of our vibrational state, a transformation that ripples outward and touches every layer of our existence, from the physical body to the subtle fields of consciousness. In the cosmic symphony, frequencies are not simply notes played in isolation, but integral threads in an intricate tapestry of sound and silence. The ancient masters understood this grand composition. They understood that certain frequencies held the power to reshape perception, to harmonize the fragmented self, and to awaken dormant potentials within the human spirit. However, this knowledge was veiled from the masses, hidden behind allegories, encoded in sacred geometry and esoteric teachings reserved for those ready to receive its transformative power. Perhaps this secrecy was born from a deep recognition of the responsibility such knowledge carries, how the activation of such vibration can dissolve false identities, shatter illusions of power, and realign us with the underlying truth that we are not separate entities but radiant expressions of a boundless cosmic intelligence. To speak of a forbidden frequency is to speak of a primordial resonance that transcends cultural boundaries, a universal key that has echoed through the halls of mystery schools from Egypt to the Himalayas, from the Americas to distant islands lost to time. It is the frequency that those ancient sages guarded fiercely, not out of selfishness, but as guardians of a truth that demanded reverence and readiness. Its unveiling is a rite of passage, a sacred awakening to the higher frequencies that dwell beyond the veil of ordinary awareness. Those who tap into this resonance find themselves carried on a current of expansion, a rising tide that lifts consciousness beyond the realm of duality and into the heart of cosmic unity. Yet, what makes this frequency truly forbidden is not merely its power, but its ability to permanently transform the vibrational blueprint of the individual. Unlike temporary highs or transient states of altered consciousness, this resonance imprints itself deeply, reconfiguring the way energy flows through the energetic body and reshaping the very patterns of thought, emotion, and perception. It is as if the soul remembers a melody it once knew in the silence before birth, a song of awakening, fulfillment, and infinite possibility. To engage with this frequency is to partake in a divine alchemy, where lower vibrations dissolve into light, and the seeker becomes a beacon of radiant harmony in a world still veiled by shadows. In practical terms, this forbidden frequency whispers promises that ripple through the everyday realities of our lives: greater clarity, enhanced intuition, emotional resilience, and a profound sense of interconnectedness with the living cosmos. But beyond these tangible effects lies a deeper cosmic resonance, a sacred invitation to awaken to the truth that vibration is the very language of creation. Everything in existence, from the atoms in our bodies to the stars in the heavens, communicates through frequency. By attuning ourselves to this secret vibration, we do not merely change how we feel or think. We shift the very vibrations that shape our experience of reality, becoming co-creators in the unfolding mystery of existence. It is perhaps a paradox that such a powerful frequency has remained forbidden, hidden in plain sight like a celestial cipher awaiting the gaze of the awakened eye. This hiding is a kind of cosmic timing, a reflection of the cycles of human evolution and the readiness of collective consciousness to receive and embody higher truths. Now, in this era of rapid awakening and reality shifts, the veil is thinning. The ancient masters' secrets are no longer locked away in dusty tomes or enigmatic hieroglyphs, but emerging through the cracks of shared human experience, calling forth those willing to embark on this inner journey of vibrational ascension. To begin to speak of this forbidden frequency is to invite a deep self-reflection, a questioning of the boundaries of what we accept as real and possible. It asks us to listen beyond the familiar hum of everyday life and attune to an ancient and eternal resonance, one that carries the imprint of cosmic wisdom and the promise of transformation. It beckons us to step beyond the confines of the known, into a luminous realm where spirit and matter dance in perfect harmony, guided by the invisible hands of frequency and vibration. And so, as we stand at this threshold, poised to explore the layers of meaning and power woven into this forbidden frequency, we are called to open fully to the mystery, to the wisdom, and to the eternal song that pulses at the heart of existence. It is an invitation to awaken not only to a higher vibration, but to the sacred architecture of reality itself, to remember that beneath the surface of the visible world lies a hidden ether of sound and light, waiting for us to listen, to feel, and to rise. To truly grasp the essence of the forbidden frequency that pledges to elevate one's vibration permanently, we must journey deep into the bedrock of existence itself, peeling back layers of illusion that have long kept humanity tethered to a reality both vast and veiled. At the core lies a simple yet profound recognition. All of reality is woven from the fabric of frequency and vibration, a cosmic song whose notes are infinitesimal pulses of energy cascading through the vastness of consciousness. Ancient masters, those luminous architects of spiritual insight, understood this truth intimately, so intimately that they encoded it beneath symbols, stories, and sacred rites, safeguarding it from the distortion born of misuse or misunderstanding. This frequency, though not often spoken of overtly, is less a numerical vibration in the mundane sense and more an archetypal hum resonating with the very blueprint of the universe. It is a resonance that does not merely nudge the soul toward temporary peaks of ecstasy or clarity, but rather rewrites the very frequency of the being in perpetuity, like a master key tuning the inner instrument of life itself to a higher octave. To approach it is to recognize that beneath the chaotic symphony of everyday experience, where emotions clash like thunderclouds and thoughts spiral like restless comets, there pulses an underlying, unshakable harmony. This harmony, once accessed, becomes a terrain of constant alignment, a gravitational center around which all facets of personal and collective awakening orbit. The ancient wisdom often spoke of frequency as the language of the cosmos, not as an abstraction but as the very ether through which creation breathes. This forbidden frequency transcends the fleeting nature of dualistic perception, that oft-deceived lens through which the world appears fractured into good and evil, light and dark, form and void. Instead, it reveals the hidden architecture of unity, a cosmic lattice where all opposites collapse into a singular, pulsating truth. It illuminates the mirage of separation, the grand illusion, Maya, that has long veiled the interconnected oneness of all things. To vibrate at this forbidden frequency is to dissolve such illusions, not by negation, but by elevation. It is to hear the silent song beneath discord and to see the unbroken thread weaving through all apparent fragmentation. This raises a critical theme that underpins the forbidden frequency's power, the distinction between surface reality and deeper reality. Our external world often dazzles with sensation and distraction, a mirage of form and color that masks the invisible dance of waveforms beneath. Yet this frequency beckons the seeker to peel back that outer layer, like cosmic archaeologists delving beneath the sediment of conditioned thought and habitual perception. Here, in the subterranean glow of insight, one encounters the fundamental pulse, the primordial tone that primes consciousness for awakening. It is a vibrational signature encoded in the very essence of life, a sacred geometric hum that aligns mind, heart, and spirit with the timeless flow of the cosmos. Ancient masters encoded this truth not only in temple carvings and sacred chants, but also in the very structure of sound and silence. They understood that sound is the womb from which creation emerges. It is the primordial vibration from which form crystallizes. Within their teachings blooms the recognition that true ascension is not an external conquest, but an internal tuning, a surrender to the natural frequency that the universe carries like an eternal refrain. The forbidden frequency, therefore, is the tuning fork placed gently against the soul's core, realigning it with the cosmic pulse and dismantling the accumulated discord of unresolved wounds, limiting beliefs, and fragmented identity. This realignment is more than metaphor. It is a fundamental shift in the vibratory signature of the individual that cascades outward, altering perception, energy, and even the very structure of matter within and around them. To vibrate at this elevated frequency is to become a living node in the vast grid of consciousness, a radiant point of harmony that influences the subtle fields of the collective. The permanence of this shift is what distinguishes it from transient states of bliss or momentary spiritual experiences. It is not a brief flare on the horizon of awareness, but a deep rewiring of the energetic circuitry, a permanent ascension that echoes through all dimensions of being. The paradox held within this wisdom is that the forbidden frequency is simultaneously hidden and accessible. It is forbidden not because it is beyond reach, but because it challenges the constructs that have maintained the status quo of human consciousness. It is a frequency that defies the accepted norms of thought, perception, and belief, often requiring a dismantling of egoic structures and an embrace of vulnerability and surrender. Those who seek it must be willing to move beyond the comfortable illusions of certainty and safety, stepping into the uncharted waters of spiritual rebirth, where old identities dissolve and new possibilities surge forth. In this respect, the forbidden frequency is both a mirror and a lamp. It reflects back to us the shadows we have yet to integrate, the layers of untruth that obscure our radiant nature, while simultaneously illuminating a path toward wholeness. It asks us to confront the illusion of time as a linear progression, and instead embrace the cyclical, fractal nature of awakening, a return to an eternal now where the frequency vibrates with infinite potential. It invites us into a sacred dance with reality itself, where each step taken aligns us more closely with the cosmic rhythm, the divine pulse that animates all life. This frequency carries the imprint of the ancient masters who walked these paths before us, those beings who wielded sound as a tool of transformation, who understood that the keys to liberation are encoded not in external doctrines, but in the vibratory pulses coursing through our very essence. Their hidden teachings remind us that the universe is not a cold machine, but a living symphony, and that within each of us lies the capacity to attune to its highest octave. To find and embody this forbidden frequency is to reclaim our birthright as co-creators of reality, aligned not with the fleeting interests of the ego, but with the eternal song of the cosmos. Thus, the forbidden frequency is not merely a concept to be understood intellectually, but a living experience to be embodied, a luminous current that flows beneath the surface of awareness, ready to lift the soul beyond limitation and into the boundless expanses of awakened existence. It is the pulse beneath the pulse, the truth beneath the illusion, the secret melody that has long waited for those brave enough to listen and rise. Long ago, before the world as we know it was shaped by the hands of time, there existed a sacred garden, a luminous realm suspended between dimensions, where the air shimmered with the very fabric of creation's song. Within this garden, the ancient masters planted a single seed, a seed unlike any other, for it was no mere seed of earth or flesh but one of pure vibration. This seed hummed silently beneath the soil of reality, cradled by roots that intertwined with the hidden currents of existence itself. It was the forbidden frequency, quiet yet ceaseless, a pulse that could not be heard by ordinary senses but felt deeply by those who dared to attune. The story goes that a seeker named Alien, whose spirit yearned beyond the bounds of the visible, ventured into this enigmatic garden. His journey was not marked by footsteps, but by waves of consciousness that rippled outward like pebbles cast into an endless ocean of night. As Alien moved through the garden, the air around him seemed to thicken with a symphony of colors, each note a brushstroke painting the unseen dimensions of reality. He reached to touch the seed, drawn by a knowing that transcended thought, yet as his fingers grazed the surface of the earth, a voice echoed, not spoken by lips but carried within the vibration itself. "You seek the melody that breaks the chains of time," it whispered, "but the frequency you chase is not a prize to be claimed, but a dance to be joined." In this allegory, the forbidden frequency is not a static treasure hidden in shadowed vaults, but a living rhythm, a cosmic dance inviting the soul to dissolve its rigid contours and enter into the play of becoming. The garden itself is a metaphorical realm of inner awakening, where the soil is the fertile ground of consciousness, and the seed is the eternal potential encoded within the heart's resonance. Alien's journey mirrors our own pilgrimage inward, where the external quest for spiritual truth gradually yields to the intimate cadence of inner transformation. But the tale does not end with the mere touching of the seed, for as the story unfolds, Alien discovers that the seed responds not to grasping hands, but to the subtle language of harmony. When he ceases his striving and allows his breath to align with the invisible currents beneath the earth, the seed awakens, vibrating in sync with the pulse of his soul. The ground beneath him begins to glow, revealing a tapestry of sacred symbols that shimmer like starlight trapped in crystals. This revelation is a reminder that the forbidden frequency is inseparable from the act of surrender, the release of ego's demands, so that the greater cosmic symphony can flow through and elevate the individual spirit. Another story, whispered through the corridors of time from the secluded mountain temples, where the ancient masters once dwelled, speaks of the weaver of realities, a figure who walked between worlds, weaving threads of sound and silence into the fabric of existence. This weaver held a loom fashioned from light and shadow, and upon it, the forbidden frequency was the golden thread that bound all creation to the divine source. Those who sought to grasp the thread without reverence or understanding found themselves ensnared in illusions, caught in the web of their own desires and fears, unable to transcend the illusion of separation. The weaver's tale is a mirror of the delicate balance required to attune to this forbidden frequency. It warns that the path is not one of force or conquest, but of delicate interplay, of listening deeply to the quiet spaces between thought and sensation, of weaving one's own life into the greater pattern with humility and grace. Here, the frequency becomes a metaphor for the subtle laws underpinning reality, those hidden harmonies encoded by the ancient masters in waves of sound and light. It is the unseen thread that, when woven consciously, raises the tapestry of our being into a higher dimension of unity and awakening. In another dimension of narrative, imagine a vast ocean beneath a starlit sky, each wave shimmering like a pulse of universal energy, some gentle, some fierce, yet all dancing to a rhythm older than time. In this ocean floats a solitary vessel, navigating through the unseen currents, guided not by maps or stars but by a delicate tuning fork held close to the heart. This tuning fork resonates at the forbidden frequency, its subtle hum opening unseen doors within the vessel's hull, revealing chambers of light filled with echoes of forgotten wisdom. The captain of this vessel is not a conqueror but a humble traveler, seeking to harmonize with the ocean rather than command it. Each time the tuning fork is struck, the waves around the ship transform, shifting the waters into crystalline pathways that lead deeper into realms of awakening. The vessel's journey symbolizes the human soul's voyage through the vast ocean of existence, where attunement to the forbidden frequency acts as a compass pointing beyond illusion toward the eternal essence beneath form. These symbolic stories entwine to form a tapestry of meaning, each thread inviting us into a deeper understanding that the forbidden frequency is not a secret weapon or a mystical artifact locked away by arcane guardians. Instead, it is the subtle resonance that intertwines all life, the primordial vibration that ancient masters encased within myth and metaphor to preserve its sanctity and to guide the worthy, those who approach with reverence, patience, and openness. The forbidden frequency, then, reveals itself as the cosmic pulse coursing through every moment, the silent song beneath the noisy world, the undulating path that leads beyond the ego's grasp into a timeless sphere of being. Like the seed in the sacred garden, the golden thread on the weaver's loom, or the tuning fork guiding the vessel, it beckons us to remember who we truly are, living harmonies in the grand orchestra of creation, capable not just of hearing, but becoming the elevated cadence of the universe itself. Through these allegories, we are reminded that the journey toward permanent vibration raising is as much a process of inner alchemy as it is cosmic attunement, a delicate unfolding wherein the barriers between self and cosmos dissolve, and the forbidden frequency becomes not a distant secret, but an intimate, breathing reality. To hear it is to awaken, to embody it is to transcend, and to share it is to participate in the eternal dance of life, forever moving toward the luminous heart of being. To bring the echoes of the forbidden frequency from the realm of myth and metaphor into the tangible contours of daily existence is to embark on a sacred alchemy, where the ethereal interplay of cosmic resonance transforms the mundane into the miraculous. This transformation unfolds not in grand gestures or sudden epiphanies alone, but in the subtle shifts of awareness that ripple through the everyday moments, infusing the fabric of our lives with a newfound depth and vitality. The forbidden frequency, once veiled in the arcane silence of ancient wisdom, now pulses softly beneath the surface of waking life, inviting us to attune ourselves to its rhythm, and in doing so, to realign the cadence of our being. Consider the way each inhale and exhale mirrors the primordial undulations of this hidden resonance, a breath not merely of air but of vibration itself, a wave that flows through the nervous system, recalibrating the delicate balance between mind, body, and spirit. When we cultivate mindful breathing, we begin to listen with ourselves to this subtle current, allowing the forbidden frequency to permeate our very flesh. It is here, in the simple awareness of presence, that the first tangible threads of permanent vibrational elevation emerge. The ancient masters, shrouded in mystery yet profoundly practical, understood that the gateway to higher resonance was not locked behind esoteric rites alone, but opened through the artful surrender to the living moment, the sacred dance of breath and stillness. Walking through the day with this heightened sensitivity invites a new choreography to our interactions with the world. The forbidden frequency does not demand withdrawal from the outer world, but calls for a harmonious engagement with it, a weaving of intention and receptivity that infuses even the smallest actions with meaning. To touch another's hand, to speak a word, to witness a fragment of nature, can become acts of communion with the cosmic pulse, as if each gesture carries the encoded vibration of the universe itself. This is not mere poetic fancy, but a tangible shift recognized in the subtle, but profound ways relationships blossom, creativity flourishes, and resilience deepens when one vibrates in alignment with this hidden frequency. The notion that a frequency might raise vibration permanently suggests a transformation, so deep it transcends fleeting moods or transient states. It is an embedding of new harmonic architecture into the core of one's being, causing the very cells to sing with a different light. This permanent elevation reveals itself not as an escape from the challenges of life, but as a resilient fortitude that reframes obstacles as teachers on the path to wholeness. When the forbidden frequency is embraced, suffering loses its sole dominion, and instead becomes a portal through which consciousness expands, like light refracted through a prism into an infinite spectrum of understanding. Thus, the experience of pain or dissonance becomes interwoven with grace, each trial a note contributing to a symphony of growth that resonates far beyond the self. In practical terms, this shift reframes the relationship with one's environment, urging a greater attunement to the natural cycles and energies at play. Ancient masters often embedded clues in the cadence of the seasons, the phases of the moon, and the movement of celestial bodies, guiding us to synchronize our rhythms with these universal patterns. To live in conscious alignment with these cycles is to breathe in concert with the forbidden frequency, letting its pulse regulate not only spiritual practices but daily routines, nourishment, rest, and creative expression. As the body, mind, and spirit fall into this cosmic alignment, the experience of time itself begins to change. Moments elongate with presence, and the linear march of hours softens into a flowing river of now, where the eternal vibrates beneath the surface of clock and calendar. Moreover, the integration of the forbidden frequency invites a radical reconsideration of the information we absorb and the environments we inhabit. Just as physical nutrition affects bodily health, the quality of sensory and mental inputs can either cloud or clarify the resonance within. The ancient wisdom whispered through the ages teaches that the energies we consume, whether through media, discourse, or social interaction, either nourish this frequency or distort it. Cultivating awareness over these inputs becomes a practice of sacred stewardship, a vigilant tending of the inner garden where the forbidden frequency takes root. By choosing resonance over discord, light over noise, the seeker creates an internal sanctuary that nurtures the permanent rays in vibration, allowing this hidden current to flow unimpeded through the channels of consciousness. Ultimately, the real-world effect of the forbidden frequency is nothing less than a rekindling of agency, a gentle yet unshakable power to shape one's experience not through force, but through resonance. When the vibration rises permanently, the individual no longer reacts to the world as a fragmented being buffeted by external forces, but moves with the grace of a tuning fork attuned to the cosmic orchestra, capable of influencing the ambient field with subtle yet profound ripples. This is a reclamation of sovereignty, a restoration of the ancient knowing that consciousness itself is the original frequency generator, and through alignment with the forbidden vibration, the self becomes a beacon radiating transformation outward into the collective. In the quiet moments of reflection, as the mind softens and the heart opens, the forbidden frequency reveals its most profound gift, a doorway into sustained presence and heightened awareness that permeates all spheres of life. This is not a frequency one merely hears or experiences transiently. It is a living pulse that carries one beyond the cycles of desire and aversion, beyond the fragmented self, and into a continuous state of illumination. To carry this frequency inside is to embody the ancient masters' most closely guarded secret, not as a weapon or a tool of power, but as a way of being that harmonizes with the sacred geometry of existence, awakening us to the boundless potential nestled at the core of each moment and each breath. Thus, the sacred transmission of the forbidden frequency invites us not to seek something outside ourselves, but to remember what has always been present beneath the noise, a silent song, a hidden architecture of light and sound interwoven with the texture of reality itself. In practical, lived terms, this means stepping into a life shaped by intention, attunement, and reverence, cultivating spaces, relationships, and practices that mirror the eternal dance of vibration in creation. It means listening deeply to the subtle hum beneath the surface of our thoughts and actions, allowing this cosmic pulse to guide us through the everyday labyrinth, transforming the ordinary into the extraordinary, the transient into the permanent, and the isolated self into a radiant node of universal harmony. As the final veil lifts, revealing the forbidden frequency that courses through the veins of existence itself, we find ourselves at a sacred crossroads, one where the echoes of ancient masters converge with the pulses of our own awakened hearts. This frequency, far from being a mere sound or vibration, emerges as a living symphony of transformation, an ever-unfolding resonance that beckons us toward a profound recalibration of being. It is here, in this liminal space between knowing and unknowing, that the alchemy of permanent elevation begins, not as a fleeting experience, but as a foundational shift in the architecture of our consciousness. The journey we have traced is not merely a map of esoteric knowledge, but a call to embody a timeless truth cloaked in metaphor and mystery. Like a hidden melody woven into the cosmic tapestry, the forbidden frequency invites us to dissolve the sharp edges of separation and to step into a continual embrace of unity with the unseen forces that underpin reality. It whispers that what we have sought in distant realms, coded in symbols and etched in ancient stone, has always been nested within the fertile silence of our own awareness. The ancient masters, those keepers of sacred geometry and custodians of vibrational truth, understood that this frequency is not a secret to be hoarded, but a song meant to be remembered, a universal pulse that transforms the mundane into the miraculous. Reflecting on this, we realize that the forbidden frequency is not an external talisman or a mystical shortcut. It is a profound invitation to align with the deeper currents of existence. It awakens in us an inner knowing that transcends the ephemeral fluctuations of emotion and thought, guiding us into the stillness beneath the storm. Here, in this radiant quietude, we discover the resonance that elevates not just our individual vibration, but the collective hum of all life threading through the cosmos. To attune ourselves to this frequency is to become co-creators in a sacred dance, where every breath, every heartbeat, every ripple in the fabric of consciousness is infused with the light of awakened presence. This transformation is both intimate and expansive. It ripples through the chambers of our being, quietly reshaping the contours of identity and perception, until the boundaries between self and other begin to blur and dissolve. We become vessels of an ancient wisdom, a living testament to the invisible architectures that hold the universe together. It is within this unfolding identification with the forbidden frequency that we reclaim a lost inheritance, a vibratory key that unlocks the gates to freedom from cycles of limitation and suffering. The permanent shift it offers is not a destination but an ongoing evolution, a dynamic state of grace marked by heightened clarity, compassion, and creative power. Yet, as with all mysteries woven into the fabric of time, this frequency demands not only recognition but reverence. It calls us to approach with humility, surrendering the ego's grasp on control and opening to the profound interconnectedness that animates all things. In doing so, we become conscious custodians of this sacred vibration, attuned to its subtle language and responsive to its transformative potential. The forbidden frequency, once hidden behind veils of silence and secrecy, now becomes a radiant path, a beacon illuminating the inner landscape where mind, heart, and spirit converge in harmonious resonance. In the quiet moments between breaths, when the world's clamor fades and the soul's whispers grow clear, we sense its presence, this forbidden frequency that raises our vibration permanently. It beckons us to remember that the essence of spiritual awakening is not an escape from the world but a deep immersion within it, an alchemical process that transmutes suffering into wisdom, fragmentation into unity, and limitation into boundless possibility. Each encounter with this frequency is a return home, a reconnection with the eternal pulse that animates all creation and the sacred promise encoded into the very essence of our being. Thus, as we close this exploration, the invitation remains alive, to listen beyond the cacophony of the ordinary, to feel beneath the currents of fleeting sensation, and to dwell within the luminous field of this ancient, forbidden frequency. To do so is to step into an awakened life, one where vibration is no longer a transient flicker but a steady flame, illuminating the path ahead with clarity and compassion. It is to remember that the secret hidden by the masters is never a secret at all but a radiant truth waiting patiently in the depths of our own resonance. May this frequency find harmony within you, a sacred pulse echoing through every moment, every thought, every breath, guiding you gently and eternally toward the highest expression of your truest self, the living embodiment of a cosmic song unfurled across the vastness of being. In this sacred unfolding, the forbidden becomes the known, the hidden becomes the revealed, and the soul's vibration rises to meet the infinite dance of creation itself.